Hello wonderful people, welcome back to my channel. How has been your day? How has been your week? Yeah, I hope you've had a very good week. The past few weeks we've been talking about pregnancy. We've talked about the first trimester, the morning sicknesses, the second trimester. So I'm just going to talk about the third trimester and how I experienced it. You know, the third trimester, which is like the 7, 8, 9 months. At this time, you're well settled into the pregnancy journey. You are expecting your baby at this time. You've probably done a gender scan. Like, you now know if you're having a boy or a girl. You're already preparing. You're buying baby things. You're filming how your baby is kicking and everything. Your partner is feeling it. Your partner feels more relaxed because, you know, the whole stress too affects your partner. For a lot of men, they're not happy seeing that you're down, but they just have to be strong, and one person has to be strong for the other person. But in the third trimester, you're winging everything. Everybody is happy. You know, we are getting prepared to see our baby. Yeah, so for me, it was, the third trimester was okay. After passing through the stage of constantly having malaria, and after I used that medication, I became really fine. The bomb that I had, I was at work one day, and then a man just told me that, oh, hope you know, he's a doctor anyways, hope you know that you're going to have episiotomy. And I'm like, episiotomy, what is that? He used a layman's language to explain it to me. It was like, it's a procedure during delivery where they use scissors, you know, to cut the vagina open to aid delivery process. I was like, what? What did you say, sir? He said, yes. That I hope I'm prepared for it, because as a first time mom, you really, well, not like you can't escape it. If you escape it, good for you, but it is most likely going to happen. I know my mom mentioned something like that, you know, mentioned being cut open with scissors. But I think when I was now pregnant and I was about to deliver a baby, it now, the thing, it got stuck in my brain. I'm like, okay, this is happening. Episiotomy is a surgical procedure where a surgical cutting is done at the opening of the vagina to help difficult delivery. It helps to prevent tissue ruptures. At this time, you are not expected to lay flat on your back. You have to sleep on the side. I can't really recall if it's the right side or the left side, but I know that you are advised not to lay flat on your back. So it's one of the things you will miss when you're pregnant. There were times when I did it, I laid on my back, but your mind will just be like, what if I'm suffocating the baby? What if the baby is not fine? Those of us that like to watch movies lying down on our back, you will really miss that position. When you're about to deliver your baby, you are going to have signs when you're about to fall into labor. For some is something called the show. Some is water break. For me, I had the show. I didn't have a water break. Then that when you see that, the show, it just means labor is knocking in. It could take a week, some 3 days. For me, I think it was like after 4 days, but you just know that, you know, you're getting there. The day before, I started to have like pain. When I was experiencing pain, I went to the hospital. And I can remember the doctor telling one of the nurses they told me I wasn't ready. I'm What do you mean I'm not ready? I'm already in pain. I did not know that that was not the pain. That was just, when you just blow powder, when you just do. Anyways, to me, I was in labor. I was in labor. So when they told me, Madam, you're not ready, I was like, what do you mean I'm not ready? I'm feeling pain. For you to be ready for labor, you need to be in intense, you need to have intense contractions, regular intense contractions that's like 3 to 5 minutes apart. At that time, I was having, I think, 15 minutes apart. I think 10-15 minutes apart. So they said, Madam, you're not ready. They sent me back home. I was quite disappointed that, am I not in labor? Please, let's do this and just get it over with. So I went home, and I think later in the evening, hours later, then I started to have like very, very serious pain. So, well, we packed our hospital bags and we went to the hospital, and lo and behold, I now knew the reason why they said I was not ready. Because when you start to have the 5 minutes interval pain, intense pain, you can see that I've opened my whole teeth, like intense pain. For me, it was like, when you take a hammer and you are hitting it on the lower back. And the beauty of this pain, of this contraction, is that the time difference between when you last had it, like for example, maybe I had it 10 o'clock, and then maybe I had it 9:55 to 10 o'clock, and then it stopped. Then that rest period between 10 o'clock and 10:05, I will have this very deep sleep. You know that sleep that you will sleep the sleep safe. You'll be like, you will even be dreaming. It will be as if nothing is happening. You will have a proper rest. And then after 5 minutes, that person hitting you with hammer starts again. You will wake up screaming. The contraction / pain, they go hand in hand, and that's what helps with delivery. It helps to push the baby downwards, and so you can have a baby. So contraction is good, labor is good. My husband and my brother, they were in the room with me, not the labor room, in the room with me, and even they themselves, that 5 minutes interval, they will sleep, and then I will wake everybody up with that scream. I screamed though. I screamed. I screamed. Because even then, I read this book, I think Supernatural Birth. I was even telling my mom that, Mommy, don't worry. I'm going to have a supernatural birth. I'm not going to feel any pain. Mom, the book did not work for me, unfortunately. Hey, like I used to tell my mom that, Mommy, don't worry. I'm going to give birth like you do women. Anyway, I came back to come and tell my mom the story now. She was like, she used to say it now that you give birth, like, you will not have any pain. I said, I do not know. Anyway, so when they wheel you into the labor room, well, the whole process starts. You just have to listen to your midwife. You push when they ask you to push. And here comes the episiotomy that I was really scared of. The funny thing is, I was really, really scared of episiotomy. But then when episiotomy was carried out, I didn't even know it had been done. At first I was telling them, no. Please don't cut me. Please don't cut me. The doctor said, Madam, please calm down. Anyways, they did the cutting, and in less than 3 seconds, or less than 5 seconds. In a very, very short thing, my baby came out. My mom would say that it's because you are in so much intense pain that when you're being cut at that moment, you don't even feel it. The episiotomy I was scared of was not even the most scary part of labor. However, after I had my baby and then I was set aside for to be stitched, now this is another stage that was traumatizing. You know, you're being stitched down below. The stitching is like, I'm going to use a layman's language. The stitching is like using thread and needle to sew. You know, stitching, if you've had a cut before, you'll be, you know, I've actually not seen it before. I've not seen it being done before, but the way the doctor was doing it, you know, when someone uses needle, sews you, ties it. So to me, it was like a process of sewing. I was crying. I said, God. I was like, sir, please don't, just stop. The man was like, hey, madam, calm down, no. Let me just do this thing very well. Now, because if you come back here and the MD has to stitch you, he will not even look at your face. I heard that one. And I know that the MD is very strict. The man no dey smile at all. He does not smile. So when he told me the MD, I calmed down. I held on to my husband. Anyways, that stage finished. Yeah, when you have a episiotomy and you're being sewn, that's like the last aspect of labor. And then you go home when you're being discharged, and then you move to the next stage, getting yourself back.